Shalom and welcome to our YouTube channel. My father, Jerry Golden, is the founder of Thegoldenreport.com. The ministry he was called into is to rescue European Jews and bring them home to Israel. My name is Joel Golden, married to Ola. We have two beautiful children, Eva and Jerry. I have been serving in the IDF for the past 20 years and finally found myself with a free schedule and the time to put into the ministry that I've been a part of all this time. Please enjoy our channel and don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as to support us on Thegoldenreport.com. Welcome back to another episode. As you know, we're still in lockdown, so I'm trying to find something other than the trips that I usually do. So this week we decided to talk with Ola about what it's like to be a soldier, a woman soldier in the Army in the IDF here. So just so you know, there's only three things I'm scared of. I'm scared of disappointing God, not doing what I'm supposed to be doing in His works. I'm scared of snakes, and I'm scared of Ola, just so you know. So, there you go.
That's so nice. Why?
You scare me, sweetheart. So,
Okay.
whenever you feel like it, you tell us what it's like to be in the IDF.
Yes. Maybe in other countries, some girls don't know what they are going to do after finish high school. Some of them get married, some of them going to college. In Israel, girls know what they're gonna do after they finish their high school. They are going to the army. Same happened to me, and I found myself just a month after I finished my high school in the boot camp. So with M16 replacing my backpack, I went to serve and protect my country. I've been placed in optic unit. So I did a long course, and then I started to serve in a special lab. My unit job was to take care of all the optical equipment soldiers need in the field, in the battles. Battles. Binoculars, optical rifle, sniper equipment, compasses, night vision, and more exciting stuff I did. Even though I didn't serve at the front, two of my friends was seriously injured, and one was light injured. It didn't happen in a battle. It happened when they were riding a bus to the army base Sunday morning. Now I want to take a few seconds and explain what it means when you're lightly injured. It's not as it sounds. Maybe it sounds like it's very light, but what is considered light injured? My friend's wound was all over her face and part of her bodies from the little particles that flew from the explosion of the bus. Yeah. And she gone through 14 different surgeries to fix her, for her face. And you can imagine what it means to a young teenage girl,
Absolutely.
Woman. My other friend was injured very seriously, and when I came to visit my other friend, when she finally was out of danger and she woke up and could speak, she just asked me one question, and she asked me, why? Why me? And I didn't know what to tell her, but she expressed my very thoughts and feelings that I could take this bus. It could be me. But I guess God's plan for me was to meet Joel and be a part of this amazing family who is being called for this mission. Now this girl's married, has two wonderful kids. She still lives in Israel. She loves this country. She was an American girl who came here to volunteer, so it's amazing. She's still here. She loves the country, and she's okay. Other than that, Army was a good experience for me, maybe except for the horrible food I have to eat in the base. I was proud to protect our little country. I served about 2 years and being released straight to the university.
Which, by the way, she studied criminology. She has a degree in criminology. Also, I want to clear something up. What she was talking about, the lightly injured. Here in Israel, on the news, anytime there's some kind of terrorist attack or anything, they list under 3 categories how seriously injured the people are, and the rating is, and translates from Hebrew, light, medium, and hard. And what she's talking about, light is sometimes someone could lose an arm and be completely disfigured and be in a wheelchair for the rest of their life, but they were lightly injured, because that light, medium, and hard has to only do with how life-threatening it is, and how close they are to death. But thank you for telling us about how it was in the Army.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was interesting to everyone. So now you see why I'm scared.
You should be.
Okay, well, thank you. So we'll head out to TGR News now and try to get you the news for this week. Welcome back to another episode of TGR News.
Shalom from Israel.
Well, as we heard, Trump and his wife got corona.
Well, I tell you, the world really needs to pray. I don't think the world ever come to grips with how important this election is in America. It's going to affect the whole world.
Absolutely.
And if Biden, Democrats win this one, look out. The future doesn't look good. But, you know, we have a Bible. There's a lot of prophecy in it, so we should be trying to understand some of this.
Right. Absolutely. Here in Israel, we're up to 9,000 cases a day. I always say the same thing. Multiplied by 50. That means close to, if you put it like in American terms, it would be 500,000 new cases a day.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. It's really bad here in Israel right now with this corona.
Yeah, it is. You know, we went into lockdown about a week and a half ago, supposedly for 2 weeks, with a little bit of lenient rules for lockdown. In the middle, they made it into a lot more serious of a lockdown. Now it's 2 months lockdown. It went to a month, but now it's 2 months lockdown, and a year till we get completely out of all restrictions.
Yeah, well, the year, I think, is just like somebody else's guess, right? We really don't know. It might be more than a year, it might be less than a year. But and the last time they told us, well, this whole thing began was going to be 14 days lockdown. Ended up being 3 months.
Yeah.
There's the example.
Exactly. The police now are using drones and stuff to search for people breaking lockdown rules. So they're using all this technology against us, right?
I think that's a big open door to look straight in and look and see who Big Brother really is.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're using your cell phones now and drones, and they know who you are, where you're going, what you done, why you went, how much money you spent.
Everything. And
everything about you. So it's slowly, they're using this corona thing as a tool to completely, totally bring in a new world order.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. More and more, it looks like some kind of apocalyptic movie or something we're living in.
It's really hard for me to believe. It's really hard for me to believe. I'm thinking, well, maybe it's because I'm 80 years old, but and maybe I'm just not able to understand things anymore. I don't know, but I didn't think I was in that bad a shape.
Yeah, it's just, you know, we go to town and do something, and hopefully don't get put in jail because we're breaking the rules or something, to go get the mail or something.
Or if your mask happens to slip down below your nose, it costs you 500 shekels.
And more. And that's also gone up to 5,000 shekels. That's almost $2,000.
Can you believe this? Can you believe it? Now, not only do they want to make sure they control your life, they want to make sure you don't have any finances left.
Yeah. Well, the IDF also stopped giving soldiers leave. They're keeping them at home on the base now, so they don't get corona. But I'll tell you something that was really interesting. Yom Kippur. You know, you heard Mama talk about it a few times when she was on the TGR News. How it's the most spiritually important holiday for the Jews. Every year Yom Kippur, it's like lockdown because everything is closed. Kids are out on the streets riding their bikes, and families walking around on the highways and everything. But this year, we were already on lockdown, so that wasn't anything special. But this year in Tel Aviv, the streets were full of people out praying because of synagogues. I thought that was something special. Praying for the country, praying for the people, praying for everything.
Getting out in large masses on the highways.
And praying.
And just to pray.
It was beautiful.
You know, it really is. I've been watching some things on the YouTube lately about the revivals they're having, even places like Chicago. There are tens of thousands of believers gathering in parks and stuff now praying. You know, God said He'd separate the tares from the wheat, and when He does, the wheat's going to be all there by itself and really want to worship God. And I think we're beginning to see what that revival, that end time revival, is going to look like. So, even though we're looking at all the negative things, there's some real positive things going on in the spirit at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it actually made goosebumps when I saw it on the news. It was really something special to see. It really was. The Knesset right now is reviewing to see if they're going to keep allowing protesters to protest. So that made the protesters we've been having for, what is it now, almost 4 months, Daddy? Now the protesters are protesting for the right to protest.
And I don't understand if there's going to be a lockdown. I understand in America, for example, I understand the Constitution says you can't prohibit people getting out and demonstrating. But the thing about it is, you can't separate. If you're saying everyone's going to die if they all get together, how can you allow protest, but you can't allow people to go to a movie or go out and have a restaurant, have a meal? You can't make an exception like that. I mean, because they're going to infect all of us from their protest. So it doesn't make sense at all. But so many things today don't make sense.
Yeah. Well, Israel's done it again. Israel always does this. While everyone is looking for a vaccine, they all of a sudden come up with something that no one thought was even possible, was even looking for. They came up with a cure for corona. It's the first clinical trial. They just finished it. It was here in Hadassah Hospital. And they took 5 cases, 2 which were in clinical coma and being with breathing machines, and 3 patients that were very seriously sick. Gave them the medicine. In 3 days, they were all good. All 5 were completely cured, no corona, nothing, and left the hospital.
Another Nobel Prize coming right there.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it answers a lot of it helps out a lot of things. As we know, the vaccine, which looked like a way that the governments could force you to take something which maybe possibly be the mark of the beast or anything that was prophesied, right? But if you got a cure, you can get the economy going quicker. Everyone doesn't have to take it. Because we know this sickness, it only affects seriously 3 to 4% of the people. So if you get sick and you're serious, you go to the hospital, get a shot, you're done, finished.
Yeah, but that is just recent in the last few days, right?
2 days ago, yeah.
2 days ago, so the world don't even know about it yet.
Yeah.
You might be the first one in the world to know about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm sure most of you guys probably saw Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, address the UN about all the things that's happening in the Middle East. Some of the points he talked about was how more countries are to follow in the peace treaty signings with Israel. And one thing he added when he started talking about how once the Jewish and Arab countries in the Middle East start coming together and agreeing on something, everyone should pay attention.
Very, very, very close attention. I'll tell you something else I noticed. It's on the Jerusalem Post today. It was on the Jerusalem Post yesterday. That Lebanon now, Assad is trying to make some kind of overtures for a maritime peace conference with Israel. Well, that tells me something else. They don't think like that. They don't negotiate with Israel from Lebanon. Yeah. But they're seeing all these Arab countries, the UAE and the Bahrain and a few others thinking about it. They see them all coming in, and now they understand that maybe they better do something. This might be the groundwork for something good to happen between us and Lebanon.
Yeah.
But let me say this real quick. All of this is got to be temporarily, because some of these people we're talking about, my Bible tells me that they're going to come against Israel in the end days. So we're just getting all ready for a big, long, false, not a very permanent peace.
Yep, absolutely. We all know that's around the corner. So when Bibi was talking, if you saw the UN address, when he addressed the UN, you'll see he had a big map and showed some secret, no more secret, Hezbollah missile factory and weapon depot, and right near the airport. Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but in the little bottom left-hand side, in little small white print, it said WGS-84, which is World Grid System, made in 1984. That's what WGS-84 stands for. It is the civilian grid system for all GPS units. So if you hook it into any GPS unit you bought over the counter, the coordinates that it had there, it would show you exactly where it's at. Because the reason that's significant, I thought, was because every country has its own grid system. Like if I give you the coordinates, latitude and longitude on the grid system on the IDF, by the way, I checked this out, so I know what I'm saying is true. If I gave you the grid system for where we're sitting right now in Israel, and you put it into WGS 84, it would be right about in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's the way it would show you where we're at. So it's completely off and different, has nothing, none of them are connected to each other. So I thought it was kind of interesting how he put it out there for the civilian GPS unit, to where they want to make sure that everyone knows.
That not only everyone, they want to make sure that Israel knows exactly the spot.
Yep.
Exactly the spot, right?
Absolutely.
Without any doubt, it's really something. You know, a lot of things happen. Let's talk about the UAE and Bahrain, for example. I've got I don't know if you call it a negative attitude about it or what, but I don't feel real good about this thing at all. First thing is the UAE and Bahrain both said in their agreement, and now they're saying it constantly out loud, that they only agreed to peace with Israel if Israel agreed to the 67 lines, border lines, and if Israel agrees to make a state for the Palestinians. Both of those are against God's word, and God can't be happy about that. So I think it's really interesting to understand that they might get the Nobel Prize, no problem about that. I'm all for that because I think Trump and Netanyahu both deserve it. But they're still playing games with people who don't play games. They're playing games with the Islamic way of thinking, and and it's my personal belief that they basically agreed, even to that degree, even to say that they still insisted on the 67 borders, and that they still want the Palestinians to be a state. But they said also they're being open about this. They're saying it very clearly. Netanyahu's been talking about annexation, the annexation of Judea and Samaria, the west, what you call the West Bank. They wanted to stop that. They couldn't figure out no way to stop that. Well, they figured a way to stop it with with some more of the Islamic tricks, and that's my personal opinion of it.
Makes sense.
And I hope I'm wrong, because I would love to see peace. I don't want to see no war. But the thing about it is, you can't trust these people. You just can't trust them.
Yep, makes sense though. Well, as you know, we've been on lockdown and probably going to be on lockdown for quite a bit longer. So we weren't able to do, as you already know, the travel part of these videos, which I actually got to where I really like to do and really enjoy. And but as soon as we can, I'll be back. I got a few requests that you sent me, and I'll try to get them as soon as possible. So that's about it for this week.
Let me ask you. Let me close with this. I want to encourage everyone listening to this, and for you to encourage everyone that listens to you, to pray for the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and his wife Melania. This is very important. Very important. The devil's very upset with God moving a man into place that he's placed Donald Trump in it, with that kind of love for these countries. So
Absolutely.
we need to pray. We really need to pray for him.
And so until next week, and don't forget to support us on Thegoldenreport.com.
Shalom, shalom.